Okay, I'm looking forward to doing this video, really looking forward to doing it. Probably for the mere fact that I've planned it a bit, something that I never used to do with my videos. I've always enjoyed doing videos off the bat, without any plan, but I think in this last year I've particularly liked enjoying doing videos more when I've got a bit of a structure, and it's not that I'm planning every word I'm going to say, I'm just kind of planning each topic step by step. So I appreciate all the support. I really enjoyed the live stream yesterday. If you missed it, you can check it out on the channel, where I explain how to build confidence with talking to women for guys who've got social anxiety and shyness. So if you're interested in that, that's on the channel, on the playlist, check it out. In this video, I'm going to explain social anxiety during the lockdown. Right, I've got a good idea to make this video. I think it's the right time. So how to build that momentum back with talking to people again. Quite a lot of people throughout the 2 lockdowns, it's been about 7-8 months now in total, right, have messaged me in various different ways saying to me that they're worried about their social anxiety coming back, losing confidence with people, with family, with friends, with work colleagues, for some guys with dating, right across the board, all the different types of social conversations and relationships, etc. And I had to give it some thought. So what I've done here, by the way, if you're enjoying my videos and you're new to this channel, hit subscribe, like and share this page as well. And I always, probably more than the subscription and the views, which I do appreciate, I think I most appreciate when people take time to comment and they share their feelings and thoughts. I do read all the comments, I try and read all of them, I really appreciate that, and I usually respond to them. If they're really negative and it's trolling, I won't respond, I don't even bother with it, alright? So, I've broken down 6 steps to, I wouldn't say completely overcome social anxiety, but I would say to lower it, to really lower it and maintain your confidence, right? But I was also aware when I'm doing this video that there's different rules with this coronavirus lockdown thing. I'm guessing there's different rules for different states, different countries, so you have to kind of be flexible with what I say, right? So it's not going to be like, exactly correct for everyone, but I'm doing the best I can. And if you are in a country where you're not in lockdown, then good luck to you, you're lucky. But for most of us in London, in England, we are in a type lockdown. It's not as bad as the first one, but it's still a lockdown. There's a lot of restrictions. So, okay, have I covered everything? Yeah. Okay, so number 1 for me is the most important, right? Let me just make a point of saying, right, I want to explain something. Now, I totally understand, for those of you that might have had social anxiety, let's say before the coronavirus pandemic came about, right, before it started, you might have done a lot of self-help work, or I call it confidence work, right? You might have worked on facing your fears and speaking to people in new social situations, and maybe some of you got over your social anxiety, which is brilliant, right? I've gotten over mine many stages, and then there's times when it's come back, and I'll go into that in a second. So you might have spent a lot of time and you're really happy, and then all of a sudden the pandemic comes, you've had to go into lockdown, you might be living on your own or living with your parents, and you haven't had that social practice, obviously, because the first lockdown it was really strict, right? It's not as flexible as this one's, a bit more lenient. So during that time you might have months away from talking to people, you might have gone into that real mode of isolation. Maybe you've lived on your own and you just haven't been going out much, and I would say that's a little bit of a different situation to someone who has really bad social anxiety. I would say that's more rust. You get rusty. So it's not like you put in all this effort, you've gotten over the social anxiety, you've gotten more relaxed and confident around people, you can hold eye contact, you can talk, you can feel comfortable, you can laugh, you can feel comfortable in yourself, and then all of a sudden you just completely lose all the confidence. It's not usually like that, but what does happen is, just like, for example, fighters, boxers, boxers that are not fighting regularly, they're not going to be as good as the boxers that have built that momentum. They're fighting more often, right? So a boxer who has been fighting boxing for 10 years as a professional, if he takes 2 years out of the ring, which is a long time for a boxer, even a year, he's not going to lose all of his boxing skills. He's not all of a sudden going to not know how to box, because he's spent years building that skill. But he's not going to be as good as he was when he was in, when he was doing it regularly. So that's the same way, I think, with the socialising and building that momentum. So it's really a case of realising that you're going to be socially rusty. I definitely was for the first several months, and even now I actually feel a lot better today doing this video. Yesterday I wasn't nervous, but I felt a bit rusty on the camera, because of not getting as much social practice. So don't beat yourself up, because a lot of people are worrying, panicking about, is my social anxiety going to come back now? Am I going to be really nervous around people? Am I going to be awkward? I would really just relax. You will build it back, but you've got to build the momentum, right? So that's my opinion on it. So number one, right, for me is the most important, is going out for a walk in public. And to begin with, this hasn't got anything to do with actually talking to people. Let me explain. I know this from my experience, and even for people who wouldn't quote unquote say that they have social anxiety, right? Everyone's going to have some anxiety socially, especially because of obviously the masks, the social distancing, especially the early stages of the virus. So that in itself is I know it already did when I went out, just for this last 7 months. My experience with everything with the lockdown, people are a lot more on edge. Not everyone, but a lot of people, they're keeping their distance and stuff, right? Some people are not as scared and stuff, they're more social. So it's understanding that when you go out for a walk, yes, you may not be, practicing eye contact with people, having conversations, but believe me, going out for a walk in public for 2 hours is such a positive step in the right direction, as opposed to staying in your flat and not coming out. That's how you get really bad depression, loneliness, and more social anxiety. So at least when you're going out in public, you might not be speaking to people, but you're going to be walking past people. You've got that exposure, and I know these small things make a difference. So that's one step in the right direction, and I think the walks are great for mental health. I'm going to go and do one after this video. I have to do it myself, otherwise, like I said in my last video, I get down. You just don't feel as good. Number two. Now again, I read the rules today, right? Because I don't want to encourage people to break the law, obviously not. But it's a bit confusing, the rules. They're a bit like, you can go out. As far as I understand, unless some of you can quote me, right? I've just gone on the website and reread the rules again, because they keep changing all the time. I would say, from what I understood, unless I understood wrong, it said that you are allowed to go out and meet one person from another household. So by that I understand that you can go out and meet a friend and go for a walk, go to the park. You can go for a walk, whatever, right? So number two, you have to make a conscious effort to push yourself to meet up with a friend or a family member, right? Unless the rules are different in your state or your country, but in London and England, as far as I'm aware, because it's confusing, the rules are sort of changing. It's saying, people that are vulnerable, that might need support, they were allowed to meet people. So if you can work within the rules and stuff, in order to get that momentum back with talking to people, I would make a conscious effort. You don't have to do it every day, but I would say at least once every 2 weeks to meet up with a friend for 2, 3, 4 hours, half a day, go for a coffee, go for a walk. And that will, honestly, already just following what I've said, life-changing. So I would say do that. If you can't do that for any reason, because let's just say I got the rules wrong, right? Because it's confusing to me when I'm reading them. It's kind of saying you can, you can't. Some people have got they can meet and stuff. So if you can't do that, then fair enough. You have to accept we can't do that at the moment. But you definitely can do number three. Make an effort of making a phone call. Again, I know a phone call is not in person, but it's still close enough. It's better than not speaking to anyone. And a lot of how I understand social anxiety, the phone is a scary place for a lot of people. So use this opportunity to practice that. Make a phone call to a friend, your client, your colleague, if you're dating someone, whoever it is, and have an hour phone call. And if you're not comfortable, I suppose today phone calls have kind of changed. I prefer doing Skype or Zoom, or any video call you can do with all the different platforms. Do that for 2 hours, an hour. And if you want to learn how to develop better social skills, right, subscribe to my new channel, Become Fearless. Watch my interviews, learn from how I communicate, and see the people that I bring on have got very good social skills. Learn the basics of how I talk to people. Obviously, you don't copy me or the people that I'm interviewing, but you can learn and you can still, be yourself using the principles. And I will do a separate video on how to build great social skills, because one of you on the live stream asked me to make a video on that. So I'm telling you, phone calls, video calls build social confidence. It's not in person, yes, but it does give you more confidence, because if you build up a rapport with someone on a Zoom call and you have a good hour chat and you really enjoy it, because you've got that familiarity and connection with them, when you go and meet them in person, yeah, you might have some nerves. It's normal to have nerves sometimes when you're meeting people. You're human. It doesn't always have to be diagnosed as social anxiety disorder. It's called being human. But it will feel easier because you've already got that connection with them over the phone or over a video call, and you just kind of build, and it's building momentum, right? So it builds confidence. There's no doubt about that. So that's really good. You can do that, and I would say, if you can't get out and meet people in person, do as many phone calls as you can. Get a list down, make a plan. Monday I'm going to call my mum, or Tuesday I'm going to call a friend or your dad or whoever you're close with, or if you have a therapist, whoever, friend. It will really help you, right? And you're helping the other person, remember that. Number 4, which I'm sure you are allowed, I do it all the time, right? Because you are allowed to go to the shop within the rules. Do small talk, practice small talk with shopkeepers. Obviously, when you go into a shop, you have to at least speak. You have to say, can I get these items? And they will say, it costs £9.99, £10. Thank you. Would you like a bag? So I suppose already, when you go into a shop and you buy food or whatever, clothes, coffee, you're forced that you have to engage. But I would say, if you can, push yourself to go a little bit further in your conversations, right? And again, you don't have to do it with everyone, but if you feel comfortable, it does help. I do that. I like being polite when I go into shops, and because I go to quite a lot of the same shops again, I'm sure most of you do, right? I get to know the people in there, and I have a laugh, have a chat with them when it feels right. Sometimes they can't, they're busy. All these little social exercises that I'm giving you help you to get that momentum back, so you can get your confidence back with talking to people, and you can overcome your social anxiety, lower it, control it, however we deem it. It's all in the right direction of building confidence, which is what I'm about on this channel. So that really does help. And sometimes what happens is, when you don't put pressure on yourself, guys and girls, when you don't put pressure on yourself and you just think, okay, I'll just have a bit of small talk, sometimes it just organically happens. These are the best social situations I like. You just get into a conversation, you just feel comfortable with that person, you get a good rapport going, a topic comes up, and before you know it, you're in a long conversation. They really build confidence. I need to make a separate video about, the difference between small talk and having a longer conversation with someone, which is a bit more honest, a bit more human, a bit more, you go a bit deeper. It builds a lot. They both build confidence, but the longer conversations obviously build a lot more confidence. Sorry, like how I'm doing these videos. I start off with a bit of small talk, and then we get into it. Right? God, the time's flying on this. Okay, so that's number 4. You can do that in supermarkets, shops, coffee shops. Number 5, right? I know a lot of people are not comfortable with this, but I like doing it, and I've been doing it for a long time. Voice messages over WhatsApp, you can do them over Instagram, you can do them over Facebook. I think they're brilliant for building social confidence. In some ways, they're just as good as in person, because again, when you get the phone out, right, and you have to send a voice message to someone, it's almost like a form of public speaking. Yeah, there's not a big audience, but a lot of people have got a fear of, let's be honest, a lot of people are a bit embarrassed of their own voice and ashamed, if we're being really honest, unless people have developed themselves, right? I was like that until I developed my confidence, and I wouldn't say I feel like that anymore, right? But everyone has that, whether they're conscious of it or not. But you can overcome that fear and shame of your own voice by practicing speaking out loud, sending messages, and it shows confidence, and it's brilliant. These are all great communication skills. I should also throw in, basically today I'm also teaching you social skills, right? I always like giving more value. If you think that I give a lot of value in my videos, because I always think I do, brilliant skills, let me know in the box below. One of you said, how can, one of you were very kind, he said, how can you pay me back for all the years of me helping you? Well, the most simple way is just appreciate the videos. So that is already a way of doing it. Or like a video, share it, leave a comment below. And more importantly, I like it when people share their feelings about their life, or what just have a conversation in the box below. And that's actually a good way. I'm not saying it's the best one, but it's still a good little bit of practice to have a bit of conversation in the chat room in the box below. So voice messages are really good. They really do give you more confidence, and they teach you how to project your voice, and they help you to have that more authoritative, confident, assertive, passionate, voice. Last but not least is, I did touch on it, is the Zoom and the Skype calls. And like I said, you can actually enjoy my new podcast show. I'm going to leave a link below. It's a second YouTube channel, and there's about 8 interviews on there. I'm going to be doing more, right? I'm aiming to do 100. And you can see me interview people, and you can see the great social skills they've got. And it's really just basic. It's really about good listening skills, honesty, honesty, showing your personality, being yourself, and asking questions, and then using the information that a person gives you when you ask a question and developing a topic from that, or a more in-depth conversation. So if you follow all these, I promise you, you're going to feel a lot better. You're going to have a lot more confidence. And then when we come out of the lockdown, you will be more prepared, because you've been putting that foundation in place. And I know how powerful it is, because I've done all of it. I always share and teach stuff over the internet or wherever. I always share stuff that I've practiced myself and got results, so I know that it works for others. So I think I've covered everything. I'm trying to think. So there's all that. Yeah. And I did read within some of the rules, right? There are exceptions. It's kind of different. If you've got like a mental health, or it did say online, if someone was in an addiction or recovery or something like that, then they are allowed to go and get help support. So it is good that they have made allowances for people that are vulnerable. But yeah, work within the rules. And as I said, you can always do something. It's not like, oh, it's locked down now, it's over for me, I'm going to have social anxiety again, I can't. You can still go on the phone. And the video calls are good, because you can see the person. I would also add to that as well, this is just a personal thing, I didn't write it down. Making YouTube videos is a great way to get over social anxiety and build more confidence. And I've made thousands, So you don't have to be a YouTuber. I mean, if you want to do YouTube, great, I encourage people to do that. I've even got videos on how you can do that on the new channel. If you want to start your YouTube channel, there's some business stuff on there, different stuff. So, and I interviewed an expert on YouTube. So, yeah, just set a camera up, sit in front of it like what I'm doing, and just have a conversation about anything. It's really, honestly, it's very therapeutic sitting in front of a camera. I think it's something that everyone should do at some point. And you don't have to upload the video if you don't want to, it's your choice. But any way that you can practice talking out loud on the phone, and like I said, from what I understood with the rules, you can go out and you can go for a walk, you can work out in the park, and I think you can meet someone, one person I think it said. I'm not 100% on the rules, one of you have to correct me, because when I go on the site and I read it, it's confusing. It will say you can't and you can, and I understand kind of the gist of it, the overview. So that's it for today. If you follow all those, you'll build that momentum, and then when you come out of lockdown, then obviously we can go in 100% and then go to events, meet up with friends and all that kind of stuff, alright? So I enjoyed the video today, I appreciate the support, and remember, become fearless.